so I can do some blendings with it. But I'm also, because I have a little lighter color, I'm gonna take advantage by putting this as, trying out if this is gonna be some of the reflection. I think I kind of like the color of it.
So what do you have on your brush?
I have right now the cobalt violet. This is that colder purple,
Okay.
a little bit of white, and just a touch of blue.
Okay.
And I'm just going horizontal. It's just a calm water. And if I'm doing it like this, you got a better chance for it looking kind of realistic, and rather just kind of blending it all around. Filling in some of the gaps, because I'm going to be bringing in a white to show the little highlights of the water. Then I can bring in the blues, which are also going to cut into the trees. But I feel like that little bit of purple is a nice complement for everything else. Just grab color when I need it. Great thing with oils, the colors you put down before are still there, and a lot of times when they're peeking through, it ends up being, just really adds to the whole texture of the painting. You do enough layers and enough scumbling and all these other materials, you almost get something that has like a kind of a patina almost. You're getting certain textures and colors that you just could never dream of or plan for. The Impressionists were doing one other thing that Degas didn't like. They were letting the accident come through, but Degas was such a control freak. He said, there is never accidents. Everything that I do is absolutely planned out. He's such an eccentric person. He was responsible for the 1881 exhibition, Impressionist exhibition, and there was just a lot of his friends were in it. Painters like Renoir and Monet weren't in there, and he was such a control freak, and everyone was just hating it. So the dealer, Durand Ruel, took over for the 1882 one, and it ended up being probably everyone's most favorite exhibition. It's the one that was done salon style. It has all the best pictures. Let's say luncheon, the boat party, luncheon of the boat party was in it, and they just had a lot of just beautiful Impressionist works that were in there.
So now you just have a heavier...
Just white, and I just barely have some oil in here so I can keep it thick, and I'm gonna get that shine of the water right there in the middle. And I'm just taking the edge of my brush, almost like I'm just hitting the top tip. So it's like a chisel tip. And I'm just coming in here and I'm just getting a feel for the water and the shines here. Mostly I'm just keeping it right there in the middle, that little opening that's above. The great thing is when you're taking a white onto this, when it mixes a little bit, at least on the edges, it's mixing into that purple that I've already put down. And wouldn't notice it unless I didn't do the purple in the beginning, then things just look way too white. But it's blending ever so little. Now, even with me, when I do my little imitations of Monet, my brush strokes get smaller in the background and thicker in the foreground, because that's just me. But if you look at a Monet painting, they don't vary. They stay the same, because he's just, chunking out. His late works end up being very, very flat, which really influenced their American expressionists, abstract expressionists. Because, you still get the mood. You know just what he's doing for it. There's even from the Ashcan school, there's some things that I like picking up that they were playing with. Now, if you ever look at one of those paintings for Ashcan, typically they're all cracked up because they were using materials not in a traditional way, and they degraded and they cracked because you were using sometimes slower drying oils under faster drying oils. They didn't build things up. They didn't use the correct combination of things, and you just get artwork that starts looking poor down the road.
I love that exhibit at the DIA. But I bought the book and everything.
Yeah, for the Ashcan.
Yeah.
When was that?
maybe 6, 7 years ago.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I got the book as well. It was wonderful reference, but already you're getting something that's kind of looking like a little bit water. Maybe I'll put a little bit more in the middle, just creating a little bit of a hot spot, connecting some of these, make sure everything looks very naturalistic. But the great thing is I got this, I can leave it thick. And if you ever look at a, let's say, Norman Rockwell painting, now since he was technically an illustrator, he made his paints really thick, so when he got photographed, they would leave shadows, and they're great to see in person. But he always wanted to be, treated as a fine artist, and he just, the stigma of just being an illustrator stayed with him.
It's in my dentist's office.
But what an excellent practitioner. When he
Yeah.
gets the redness of the kid's face to the point where you can tell that they're hot and sweaty, the pink of his child's foot. So this is looking pretty good. Now what I'm going to do to help it out, and this is where I'm going to get into the trees, I'm going to bring in some of the other color next to it so it peeks in here, and I'm going to just go a little into that violet color, that cobalt, the warmer one, and I'm going to just do some dots of light first, like some of these things that are just getting here in the midst of the tree. And because there's still a lot of white in there, I can paint right over the surface and I don't have to worry about anything. But I love the color there, against that chrome green, because you got warm against cold. It's one of the reasons it's going to jump out. But then you got this pleasing combination of color, which, by the way, anytime I do a picture, I will work out all my colors first that I want to use on a palette and see if they're all harmonious. And if they're lovely and they're all beautiful, I know I can't go wrong.
Will you be adding more purple to the water?
I'm going to be adding more purple and blues further I get out here. But right now I'm adding that warm purple, and it's going to only make that water that pop out that much more and look that much more interesting. So this is just overall harmony of colors, but I can just, I'm going to come in with some other greens, but I'm poking a few holes back in here as maybe some of the branches. Now Monet, this picture would have been around 32 inches square, so he would be a little bit bigger, so he would have to come back a few times. But doing a little picture like this is just a delight, because you just, once you kind of know what you're doing, you can just kick these guys right out. It just ends up being a lot of fun. So I'm going to add a little blue. Just going to go, because you could, even in the original one, I remember there was some brighter blues that were going on. So I'm just going to go in here a little bit. Maybe because it's in the shadow, gives me a chance to have this other great color coming in. I want to have a chance of reflecting some of the tree here. So I want to look like maybe it's the shape of the tree that's going to be reflecting into the water. So I got to have something a little darker, and the blue works out good. And the blue looks great because, ultramarine. This ultramarine is the green shade, which I love for doing the skies and everything. But because of the green shade, it's cold, but it's still somewhat warm. But next to this real warm violet, it's going to be a nice harmony to it. So how does it look so far to you guys from where you're standing?
Well, from here, when you added the blue, it oddly enough made it look more purple too.
Yeah, the two together.
Yeah.
Because you got that nice harmony going on. Now when I fix the edges and put the green here, the illusion of the tree standing in front is going to really be evident.
Yeah, that really made the water adding that darker color.
And so now I'm going to go right to the green, and I'm not going to worry about a little bit of blue stuck into my green here, because there's a lot of similar colors here anyways, so I'm not going to worry about it. But I'm getting to the sap green, and I'm just going to push around some of this, just feather the edges a little bit. allowing some of that color just to be there. Ultimately, I'll be doing some of the darker greens maybe on the edge, like a little bit of a limb is coming out. And I think that'll be it for this video, and then we'll